Don't you just wish sometimes that you can draw on your screen with pencils and, okay, maybe not with pencils and crayons, but now with the drawing view that's inside of the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit, you can totally draw anything you want on your screen. Let's go check out how to work with it. So why a drawing view? Well, a drawing view can do a lot of things. The first thing that comes to mind, of course, is drawing. So you could create your own little paint application inside of a mobile app that runs on Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS, all the things. But of course, you can also use it for other things. If you go way back like me in the Xamarin days, then you used to have a component that's called signaturepad. So maybe you're making more like an enterprise application. Maybe you're creating an application where you deliver packages, or at least you have to collect the signature of someone that you're doing something for. And now they can sign off on your screen. You can capture that signature. You can save it as an image. You can put it in a PDF. You can do all kinds of crazy things with that. So, it's much more than just making drawings. You can also capture user input with like gestures and those kinds of things. I'm sure that you can come up with all kinds of things that will be useful inside of your app, but let's go check out how to actually implement it inside of your app with the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. So here we are in Visual Studio 2022. I just whipped up a file new .NET MAUI application. You can see it right here, the template in XAML. I did change one thing. I installed the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit already. So you can do that, right click on the CS Proj or the solution. You can do manage NuGet packages. And then I went to browse, search for community toolkit.maui. At the time of recording, the newest version is 1.2.0. It will install, it will pop up a little README, and read that carefully because you need to do a little initialization line to make sure that you've initialized, that's a hard word, initialized the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit the right way. So go over to your Maui program.cs, and here in your application builder you have to add like the Use Maui Community Toolkit. There is something really cool, by the way. We added an analyzer to remind you of this. So whenever we see that you're trying to use the Maui Community Toolkit, but you haven't added this initialization line, then it will automatically give you a build error to remind you that you actually need to add it here. Because, who is reading documentation anyway? Not me. So we give you this little reminder, which is really cool. Of course, you need to add the using community toolkit.maui here at the top as well to make this work. Now, with that in place, that's all that we need to do. So we can go over to our main page or whatever page you're going to implement this. And we want to add this little extra XML namespace, right? So let's do XML NS. I'm going to call this MCT, Maui Community Toolkit. And then I'm going to search for community toolkit.maui. Now, there's a little funny thing in here because I want to have the views, but not the core.view. So I'm not sure why that isn't popping up here in the IntelliSense. But let's do this core.views because it's the closest thing. And then I'm just going to remove this core thing from here and also from here. And now we're all good to go. See, the squigglies are going away. And now let's keep the image in place for now. I'm going to replace this label and actually let's keep the button. Maybe I don't know what I'm going to do. So let's transform this label into the MCT, and you can see we have the avatar view, also exciting, and the drawing view. If you want to learn more about the avatar view or more about the drawing view and all the stuff that maybe some more advanced stuff that I'm showing today, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be looking into if I can make some content around that. So we're going to see the drawing view here today, and it doesn't have a text, so we can remove that. It doesn't have a font size, and let's remove the semantic properties for now. But what I can do is search here maybe for lines, because we're going to do something with lines, right? So we got a couple of suggestions here. We have drawing line complete, and there's more events that you can do with this. And also we have the command so that you can do it with MVVM as well. But we also have like, is multi-line mode enabled? What's that? We'll see that in a little bit. Line color, lines, line width. So we'll look into that. But what we first want to do is maybe make this show up. So let's make the background color light gray so that we can see where our drawing view actually is. And I think you also need to specify a width and a height request so that it actually, gets a little bit of body here. So let's make this 200 and the height, I don't know, also 200. Let's make it like that. And I can actually start running the application right now. So let's just run this on the Android emulator, and you can see this gray box showing up, and we can play with the rest because it will just pick up with XAML hot reload, and we can see all of our changes being reloaded on from the emulator straight away. It also works from your physical device, also for iOS and Windows and all those kinds of things. So our application is coming up here, and when it does, we should now see still our .NET bot, but we should also have the gray box. Here we are. It's a little bit small, but I'll do my best. So here we can start drawing lines. Now I'm doing it with my mouse right now, right? Because I don't have any touch input here on the emulator, but of course this definitely also works whenever you do it with touch on your actual device. The thing you'll notice is that whenever I start drawing a new line, the old one is getting replaced, is getting removed. Now that can definitely have its use for your scenario, but if you want to do a signature, for instance, it's not really great, right? Because my signature, I don't know, I lift my finger sometimes, and or my pen or whatever, and now the lines go away, right? So that's not something that we want. So let's go in here and let's set that multi-line mode enable to true. And whenever I set that to true and I go back to the emulator, now suddenly I can draw more lines. See that? So I can just I can detach my finger, and whenever I press again, it will just stay here intact. So that's really cool. Now we can do more things. I talked about the line color, right? So we can set that to red. And let's also look at the line width. So you can specify how thick or narrow the line has to be. So let's set this to, I don't know, 20. Let's make it something crazy. And whenever I go back now, I get a really thick red line, you see? So this is, I'm setting it in code right now, but you can totally set this at runtime. So imagine that we don't have that signature scenario anymore, but now we want to have this paint application. Do you remember Draw Something? It was a popular game a few years back. Well, more than a few years back, I'm getting old, where one person on one end of the line was drawing something, and the other person on the other end of the line had to guess what it was, right? So it was kind of like Pictionary, but now across the world. And you can do something with that. You can have a color picker here. You can have a line width picker right here, and you can, specify these things at runtime, and suddenly you have some kind of draw application or a paint application or whatever you want. So I can set this now to green, and I can set this to, I don't know, 1 to make it really narrow. And when I do it now, I will get this little green line, right? But whenever, there is, of course, a clear method that you can call on the drawing view whenever you have a button, maybe that to clear the whole thing. But I can also set now very easily to overcome the XAML hot reload stuff here. Just do the multi-line mode to false. And now whenever I start to draw something, it's gone, right? You can also notice that whenever you start drawing something, it smoothens the line here. It has this anti-aliasing thing going on. You can enable that, disable that. You can do all the things. So that's a lot of the options, definitely not all, but a lot of the options that the drawing view has. But I promise you could also take this image and you could put it in a PDF, right? You could save it to disk, whatever. So let's see if we can implement that. I think that I need to stop right here. I don't think the .NET hot reload works pretty well in the Android stuff. So let's give this little image a name. I'm going to name this image view right here, and just remove the source for now. We don't need that. So whenever I do that now, and I can say here maybe let's use this event right here. So what was it? Line completed something, drawing line completed. I'm doing it in code behind right now. Of course, if you're doing this at home, you probably want to do it with the MVVM way. So here we have this drawing line complete. And what I can say now is image view dot source is, and then I can say, did I give the drawing view a name yet? I don't think so. Did I? Okay, I'm going to give this a name too. X name is draw view. And now I can get the draw view dot get image stream. So you can just get the image stream for the whole drawing view, and you can use that to put it into an image, or you can take that and save it as an actual image on the disk, or send it to an email, or put it in a PDF if it's a signature. And we can do image source dot from stream, right? So we have this thing, and now we are getting this as a stream. And is it happy? Is it happy? Doesn't take 0 parameters. What does it take? The width and the height. Oh, interesting. So that was 200 and 200. And now, hopefully, is this async? What does it do? I think it is async. So let's make it async and await it then. And now we should be all good. Is it not? Still not? Oh, we need to, this is a value task. Oh my gosh, what do I need to do? Do I just make this async? Does it work then? Was it happy back then? All right, I'm not really sure what is going on here. It's a value task, await. Maybe I'll do it differently. Maybe I'll just make this a async method. I'll put this in a thing first. Var stream is await and get the stream this way. And if you're smarter than me, let me know down in the comments what I should have been doing differently. Because I can't figure it out while I'm also recording this for you. So let's make this a stream, and now I think this will work. There we go. So whenever I run this again, now what happens is whenever the drawing view draw line completes, so whenever I draw a line, that's what I expect, then it should now take that image that we have in our drawing view, and it will put it inside of a image that is right on the top, right? So we should basically see the same drawing that we were making, but now as an image right on top of it. And in this example, it's like, not really that useful, but whenever you're going to do this in real life, then what you want to do is you can take this and put this as a signature in that PDF or the things that I've mentioned. So I think there is some options I need to play with, and also it sizes a little bit differently because, of course, now it's just going to take the boundaries of this line and stretch that to 200 and 200. So that's probably not what you want to do. But, this gives you a nice example of what you can do with this. So if I actually go along the lines here, then it's actually like the 200, 200, then it should look more similar to each other. So there we are. You can see that you can do all these kinds of crazy stuff. Now, the other thing, like what I also can do from code is here. So here, take that draw view, and you can also inspect like the lines here, right? So the lines is just another collection of drawing lines, I think. So with that drawing line, you can also save that as coordinates. Maybe again, if you have that signature or another paint thing, maybe you want to kind of like save your drawing like something that you can edit later, like a PSD file in Photoshop. Now you can save all the coordinates, all these lines, and you can just load that back into the drawing view to later edit that again. Like I said, if you want to see more advanced stuff, please let me know down in the comments. And you can, of course, do the lines.clear. I think the draw view has a clear in itself as well, which should clear automatically with all the things so that you have this nice blank canvas again. But that's basically how to get started with the drawing view. Here I show it on Android, but this also works for Android, iOS, Windows, macOS, all the platforms that are supported by .NET MAUI. Now, I would be curious to know what you are creating with this drawing view, so please let me know down in the comments or reach out to me on Twitter to show me what you are creating with this nice, wonderful drawing view. Thank you so much for watching, again, one of my videos. Please click the like button so that it spreads throughout YouTube and more people get to enjoy my content. And I can hear you. You want more content for .NET MAUI right now. So check out this playlist with more .NET MAUI videos. Check out this playlist for more .NET MAUI Community Toolkit videos. And make sure to check this button to see if you're subscribed to my channel. And then I'll be seeing you automatically for the next one.